Hi everyone, not only am I going to be showing you what I'm going to be doing this week, I'm also going to talk about my ancestry. Here we go.
Yo, it's time for another, that's right, another weekly edition of the struggling YouTuber, that's right, Max with...
Hey everyone, I'm starting this vlog a little bit late because I've had the energy and it's also been pretty hot where I live. And I imagine for a lot of you people who live in the Midwest or different parts where they're experiencing a heat wave, it's insane. But I'll just show you some of OK2's videos right there. Yep, for OK2 channel, her vlog channel. That's what I've been doing, watching that. Just chilling, reserving energy, and then I'll be going back to work tomorrow. So that's the reason why I've been starting this vlog late. Because of all those things. Well, you heard me talk earlier in the intro. I talked about ancestry. Another word for that is genealogy. It's the study of your ancestors. It's how you find out who's in your family tree, whether it's by marriage, whether it's by biological, or whether it's half brother or half sister, and all that jazz. And then also too, your ancestry includes, you know, who was a Mormon, or if they were on the Mormon trail, you could discover that through genealogy. And now with this new thing from this DNA place that originally was designed to help people better understand their bodies and what kind of diseases that they could face in the future, in the near future, help better get them the right medicines the first time and not the right medicines later on in their treatment or curing them of something. It's also to help further that genealogy searches and get them a lot deeper. And then also too, with genealogy, becomes a lot of traits that you inherit from your ancestors. Some people, you know, who might have known your great grandmother say, hey, you got her eyes. You know, might have been a kid back then, now like in their 50s. They say, hey, your great grandmother had your eyes, if they're not around anymore. And also, you have many different types of religion in your past. With me, I'll be going into that a little bit further here, which I'm going to be starting these first two parts of this weekly vlog, talking about my mom's side and the different stuff that has been discovered by one of my uncles over the last couple of years. Who's become a somewhat, I should say, enthusiastic genealogist, mapping the family tree. So let's start. My mom's side, we have Irish. Oh, I forgot to mention, that also means origin, where you come from. So Irish and English. And along with that, Mormons too are in my background because my uncle Pat, has been able to trace back, that's right, trace back some of my relatives that no longer live, all the way back to the Mormon trail, back to Nauvoo before they split and went their separate ways. And I'm also related to a Mormon, and I get this, people, you'll be quite surprised, and a lot of you who might watch the videos who are Mormons or live in Utah will already know of her, but that's right, the woman who ran against her own husband and won. Now I'll be telling you about her name and a little bit more about that story later on, but yes, I'm related to the first woman to ever hold a state office seat at the state level. That's right, in Congress. When women only were allowed to run at the state level, they weren't allowed to run for president or Congress back then. You know, they only were allowed to run local. I mean, that's the farthest they could go, was to the state. And the real kicker is, she ran against her own husband and won. I'll be telling you more about her, like I said, tomorrow. And I'll tell you her name is. So, I still have relatives living in Ireland. And I think some of my there's definitely been reports of, you know, with the Irish and they're not being so welcome here. Well, a lot of my ancestors, their names were changed, so they would seem less Irish. So they wouldn't, you know, be ridiculed for being Irish. He thought, so yes, the Irish were ridiculed for coming to America. So that's just a little bit about my family background on my mom's side. Like I said, later I'll talk about my dad's side. And I hope everybody is having a great week. And like I said, I'll give a little more further stories about my mom's side and this one lady. And if any of you Mormons out there know who I'm talking about, please, if you leave a comment, don't mention her name because I want to do it myself, alright? Okay, I'm Max Smith, and I'll be seeing you
Netflix
later
here.
on. I've also been watching YouTube, and I've also been looking up information about one of my ancestors here. That's her name right there. That's how long she lived for, and all that jazz. And now I'm going to give you a very quick, brief intro about her. She was a doctor and a senator. And here's a little teaser. She was the first woman senator at the state level in the entire United States. Yeah, crazy. I'll give you more information about her in the next part of this vlog. But that's what I've been up to. It's nighttime. We also got some rain yesterday, or should I say last night, which did cool things down quite a bit and saved me some trouble from having to water my plants and whatnot. So yeah, that's just what I've been up to. Like I said, I'll give you a little more information, then I'll give you some information about my dad's side, and then that'll pretty much wrap up this week about my family past. I'm Max Smith, and here's that name once again, which I will be putting beside me. Yep, that's pretty interesting. She's the first woman to be elected as state senator in the entire United States. Until next, just kidding. I just got done watching the opening ceremonies to the 2012 London Summer Olympics. I'll go into a little more detail about the first woman to ever be elected as state representative in the state of Utah at the fart. Okay, I just got done watching the opening Olympic ceremonies to the 2012 Olympics. The highlights were, of course, Paul McCartney playing, when they made it look like the Queen was skydiving in. That was amazing, with the actor for James Bond. That was crazy. And the way they had the pillars and this flower-like thing form the colander, the Olympic. That's right. So that was pretty cool with the Olympic colander. And so yeah, the 2012 Summer Olympics in London are officially open. So that was interesting. If you watched the opening ceremonies, what is your favorite moments? And I'll be going into a little more detail about some of my family history tomorrow, which would be Saturday because today's Friday. So yeah, hope I was having a great week. I'll delve into the rest of that, end up the week with that, with lots of tidbits and interesting stuff there. And then what will next week bring? Well, I'll be talking about the Olympics. Alright, I'm Max Smith, and it's time to move on to the next. Talking about that person there, I think it's Martha. Yep, I'll put the full name there. Finish up about her. Like I said before, she was a doctor, she was a senator, the first in the entire country, and she ran against her own husband and won. And by how much, you ask? Well, here you're about to find out how much. Here she received more than 2,500 votes. That's right, people, which landed her the distinction of being the first woman to be elected at the state senate level in all of the United States, man, in history. Okay, a little bit more about her. She became a doctor when it was pretty hard for most people, women, especially women, to become doctors. Men, a lot of men would be doctors by then. And she did it. By the age 23, she graduated with a degree in pharmacy and all that jazz. Isn't that insane? But when she was a senator, she did push for, here's some things she pushed for when she was a senator. She pushed for women's rights, working, equal pay and all that stuff in the workplace. Education for the disabled. basically making sure that everyone got a proper education. And of course, she also spearheaded the creation of the State Board of Health. That's right, the State Board of Health. After resigning and retiring for being a senator for many years, she remained on the Board of Health until she passed away. Oh wait, no, correction. I'm currently watching some of the Olympics, which I have been watching all day on my TV over there. Also picking up the story here on Martha Cannon. She was the first, that's right, she's known for being the first woman ever to be elected at the state level in the Senate in all 50 states. Is that crazy or what? She's also a doctor, which I'll get into more of that a little bit later. But now let's finish up how much did she win by and why it was so important. Also, because she ran against her own husband and won. She got a little bit over 2,500 votes. She got more than 2,500 votes to beat her husband for that state senate position, which landed her the first woman ever to be elected at the state senate office in all of the country. Well, she became a doctor by age 23. Then she got a pharmacy degree as what also. She had to go into hiding because of the whole polygamy thing, the government cracking down on polygamy. It's the practice of more than one wife per husband. So she spent a couple years in London, Europe, with her daughter until she felt it was time to come home. Well, as a senator, she pushed for bills such as women's rights to equality, the rights of women work in the workplace. That's right, equal pay for equal jobs and all that stuff, as well as education for the disabled. Make sure everybody had the right to a good education, as well as creating the State Board of Health. Well, when she decided that she was no longer wanted to be a senator, she remained on the new Board of Health. She moved to California believing this would help her health problems, but in the end it didn't, and she passed away in 1932. Well, that's a little bit more about Meredith. Yeah. Martha. And so that wraps up my mom's side of the family. And now for my dad's side of the family. Let's see, my dad's side of the family, German and French. German side, of course, Miller. It's all about, I know, from my German side. But my French side, French Canadian to be more exact, there's a thing called the Voyageurs. They would go and take the gun parts and trade them to the Indians for the beaver pellets, which were all the rage. Beaver felt top hats were all the rage back in England and other parts of Europe. So, have you heard the term lock, stock, and barrel? Well, this is where it came from. Other voyagers, such as my relative Pierre Goujon, would trade. One year they'd trade the lock, then the next year they'd trade the stock, and then the last year the barrel. So hence lock, stock, and barrel for the pellets, which are the sawed-off thing to use as top hats. That's right, top hats. Beaver felt top hats. You know those big hats that, here, I'll show you. Something like this. Yeah, this is a top hat. So yeah. But he was a voyager near the end of this era. Now, interesting little tidbit about voyagers. They were expected to live much more than to survive 3 years of their contract, which hence only 3-year contracts. The requirements to be a voyager were very simple. don't know how to swim, read, or write. But luckily he was near the end of this era, the voyage era, and went on to become a logger and a blacksmith. Well, that covers my family history, a little bit on my mom's side, and a little bit about my dad's side. What is your family history like? I'm Max Smith, and yes, that's right, the Olympics have started, so guess what? Next week is all about the Olympics. I'll give you my highlights of what I thought about the opening ceremony and the first day of what I've seen so far. I'm Max Smith, and you've been watching me. And Max is saying, until next time, thanks for watching, and this has been another weekly edition of the Struggling YouTuber. Punch.
Oh snap! This guy must have been working out. I got my tickets to the gun show. You better get yours. Download them below.
So say subscribe to Max QT.
Subscribe to Max QT ASAP.
Thank you, Shay.
Thanks, Max. High five.
The video footage on your left is from last week's vlog. Where the question marks will take you, well, you'll have to wait till next week. I'm Max Smith, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Peace out for now.